Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This is a bit of an important one because we're doing an inspection on a 120 Prado 2008 and it's done 220,000 K, so it's actually got a few things to show you. Once again, one of those few typical things. Now, I may have mentioned in an earlier video, and you may be putting the pieces of the puzzle together, there's quite a few videos on this vehicle. It's a good one. It's not perfect, it's got a few little issues, but that's why it's here. It's 14 years old and it's time to spend some money, so we're doing a little bit of work on it and we're going to have to rebook it to get the balance done, but that's all good. One of the first things we know, so the owner, can you please do me a favour, mate, and just lower the drain tray down a little bit just so I can get in there, just lower it down. The owner does all his own servicing. One owner, he's had it since new, probably doesn't really trust anyone too much, and I can understand that. So there looks like there's no sun plug washer there actually. This will be interesting. I mean, we're not doing an oil change on it, but can anyone see a sun plug washer there? I mean, everybody have a look. Maybe there's a really thin one, but looks to me like there's no washer there. That is crazy. Anyway, we'll just give him some sun plug washers because we've got some here. But as you can see, we're doing a front diff oil change. So he said, you know, he does his own service, getting a bit of work done. Can you do the front and rear diff oil? So here we are. And 220,000 Ks, and you know, we dropped it out and we went, oh, you know, that oil looks pretty clean. Don't get me wrong, I mean, looking in the drain tray, as I said, always looks dirty, but you can see, because it's shallow, you can see through it. Always looks bad when you're looking up there, but yeah, pretty clean coming out. And we went, look, you know, hasn't been off-road. The front diff in the Prados often comes out clean. They don't do a lot of work, unless you've got a locker or a lot of off-road or something like that. So let's just go and have a look at the plug for a minute. Now, I reserve the right to be wrong here. I could be wrong, but I believe this front diff oil is either never been changed, because the plug, I've never seen a plug in such good condition, you know. Usually by 40,000 they've butchered it, if not at 80,000, or someone gets to it at some service by 220. But this guy's been doing his own, and I don't think he does diff oil. So I'll ask him, or he'll see this video, and he might put it in the comments. So check the comments. They can take a bit of time to go up, because I actually read and approve them all. So this is your little warning. If you're swearing or carrying on, they just get deleted. So you've just wasted your whole time typing it out. Good comments go up. Negative comments can go up as well, but they just need to be written the right way, okay? So we're open to feedback. If you're just carrying on, we're not going to bother. But if you've got some feedback that's good, check the comments. All the time I put up comments of people complaining and whatever. But the good news is we've got a 98%, 99% really positive comments, awesome channel and community there. Back to what we're talking about. See, that's the filler plug in perfect condition. And the drain plug, there's just about always some twist damage on that. I'm just going to get around on some different angles so you can have a look at it and see what I mean. So we've taken it out, not only looking at this side, but also looking at the washer condition and how tight it was. It just felt like factory. So I'm pretty confident it's never been changed, and there's nothing wrong with this front diff. Just thought I'd mention that. I'm not saying that you should not bother to change your front diff oil, but you know, I believe, and I could be wrong, that this plug's never been out. Now let's check out the rest of the vehicle. The whole vehicle, but we're going to quickly go front to rear and just have a look at all the typical. So 14-year-old radiator, no problem at this side. Yeah, that's looking good. So they don't all leak. CV boots on the outer, no problem. On the inner, it's pretty typical once they're 14 years old that the grease starts oozing past the clamp. It makes a little bit of mess, but it's not something to worry about in my opinion. You can worry and repair and whatever you like, but if this is my vehicle, I keep driving, okay? It's just not going to be an issue. You're going to create yourself a whole heap of work trying to change the boots, and you could change the boot, and I don't know how long they're going to last. Depends if you get genuine or not. It's very expensive for parts if it's genuine, and then you've got all the work. I just keep driving it, and eventually it'll let you down. And guess what? It's 14 years old at the moment. So when it's 20 or 25 years old, we put a whole new shaft in it, right? They're about $500 a side. We don't send them. It's pick up from your local dealer. You can pick up from me, save you some money, pick up from me if you're local to the area, around Melbourne, whatever. And you just want to pop in for a visit to pick up your drive shafts and save a few bucks, you can do that. We've got no play in the wheel bearings, but you know the recommendation about every 200, depending how far you're traveling. This one, it doesn't, you know, it depends how far you're going from home. So let's get down it. Let's have a look at the bushes, because this is going to be really interesting. Now, I just want to point out, it's got Bilsteins, as you saw. So it's got the Dobinson springs, good, but it's got Bilsteins, and quite often these are a bit bouncy. So these can allow more Besides they can break, that's another issue, but that's another story. But they can allow a lot less control. So let's just have a look and see. Typical, see the crack on the left, just a little bit. The crack on the right side, not too bad, right? This one at the front looks like it's been getting quite twisty a little bit in there, and it's a bit yuck. A bit hard to get to the other side at the moment because the drain tray's in the way. Let's see if we can get around here somehow. Okay, what are we doing? It's pretty hard. I'm just going to come back to that later in the video. So at the front, not too much. Turbo up there, nice and dry. Everything up there is looking good. No oil leaks, nothing we can see at that side. Okay, and has been off-road at least, you know, it's been somewhere or down the paddock because it's got grass and it's got the red stuff, and there's a bit more of that further up here. We already saw the transmit. You might, you know, putting the puzzle together which one this is. Anyway, let's go down this side. You can see a bit of mud up there, so it's been in a bit of mud at some stage. Now here we go. The typical little sweat you get from the probably the transfer case input shaft seal. So in there, obviously we know it's an airspace. So there's a tiny little, not even worth worrying about, but once again, you could, if you wanted to make that look better, you could do a tiny little, really neat RTV job, but that is not actually meant to have oil in there. It's just a seal, but it's not worth the massive amount of work to change that seal. It's putting one drip every 3 years, if you know what I mean, but it's enough to just make it untidy. So you can just clean it up every now and then, or you can do that little RTV trick. Transmission looks good. Transfer case at this side looks good. We'll get to the other side. It looks like he's been putting some grease in the drive shaft. It's nice and wet, so that looks good. Exhaust still looks good. Bilsteins, I never like the look of Bilsteins. Dobinson springs, got some airbags in there, so maybe he does some towing sometimes. I've already squeezed the fuel hose. It's got the original fuel hose, I would say. It's rock hard, absolutely rock hard. So, and you can see a crack developing actually. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to change this. We're not even, this is a no-brainer. I'm not even going to get authorization, ask permission. I'm just going to change this, right? And, you know, he'll go, yep. And if he goes, oh, no, I didn't want that. No, our clients aren't like that, right? But you know what? If you didn't want it done, it'll be free. It'll be free anyway. Here you go. This fuel filler hose. Mate, do you mind fitting this fuel filler hose for free on this one? Is that all right?
Yep.
No worries. Okay, so I'll supply it for free and you fit it for free. There you go. Bada bing, we do stuff like that every now and then. So this one's free. Client will see the video, so he knows it's free, right? So the hose is nearly $100, bit of labour to fit it, whatever, 130 bucks or something, 150, depends where you go. But anyway, rear brakes, they're all right for now. Rear diff, we've got to do the rear diff oil as well. Let's have a look at the rear trailing arm bushes. Looking pretty good at this side. Good over here. Yeah, they're not looking bad. Be a little bit of twisty, but you know, just that doesn't mean you need to replace them. They're okay. Look, we'll get in and have a closer look. Bit of a lever and a look around. But this is quite clean. This is pretty good. Now let's get up this side, up the fuel tank. No damage. Now here's something to look at. At the end of this video, mate, can you remind me about, because I had a quick inspection before and there's a few things. One is, here you go, the typical. And when I say typical, it's very rare, but it's also common, if you know what I mean. It's very rare. It doesn't usually happen. But out of the few things that happen on these vehicles, this is something that can happen. It's usually, not necessarily this time, usually when someone's gone off-road, they've got mud and dirt in there. And when you wash it, you don't want to use pressure because that will push dirt into the seal area. You want to use a lot of water so it rinses any dust, dirt and mud out before it gets in there. So you've got your transfer case here. Inside here there's a seal, okay? And there's a couple of seals and they back up to each other. You can kind of, do you get the picture? Can you just twist this propeller shaft just a little bit each way so people can see the moving parts, right? Okay, so you've got the seal that on the flange, you know, you're going to take, so look, basically you need to change the seal that goes into the transfer case. Okay, so you got to take the propeller shaft out, take the 4 bolts off. You need a little press, there's a little nut in there, and you just, or a big nut actually, and you just take that off, and you can use a little puller. They're generally pretty easy to get off if you're going to do it yourself, or you can take it to a professional. It's not a big job, but just careful who you trust, you know. But yeah, replace that seal. That's your typical little oil leak, and it's, you know, that's usually the one. It's not this one up here. It's always going to be this one. It's not this one at this end of the diff here. It's this one, okay? So I don't know the part number of the seal. I can't help you with that. Just letting you know, if you see that bit of oil there, it is that seal that needs leaking, and clean it all up while you've got it off. Inspect all the parts. There may be some other parts that need replacing sometimes, but very rare. Moving up here, I also noticed the usual. Everybody know what I mean? Yeah, all the regulars know. All the regulars that are subscribed with the bell on and all that, and they hit the like button as soon as the video starts playing. They know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say anything. See that plastic plug there? It's got an O-ring on it. In other videos, we've told you about it and supplied all the part number for the plug, the O-ring. And if you purchase kits from us, you could actually just say, hey, have you got one of those plugs? And I'll just throw it in for free. More free stuff in this video. What is this video going to be called? Free stuff. What else we got? Look, we did the injector, so there's a bit of oil and stuff, a bit of fuel dripping around. That's why the diff's really wet, because fuel from, you know, fuel system job, we haven't washed it yet, because of course we put up in the hoist to work on it, so there's no point getting then water and everything dripped on us. Now, mate, what did I forget? What did I forget? What did I forget? Tell me, I've forgotten totally. The plugs, no, we've done that. Diff plug, so the transfer case, the fuel filler hose, the usual plug that's leaking. No sump plug washer on the sump.
Wheel bearings.
Yeah, wheel bearings. I said, look, you know, recommended every 200,000 Ks, because they can go bad quickly. That's commonly where we see them play up. There's no play in these inner rack ends like sometimes there is. Look, there's not even any sweat of oil on the boot at this side. Let's check this side. And that looks to me, you know, I can't get my head in there. I'm trying to get the camera in the light. Looks pretty bloody dry as well. So there you go. So tie rod ends aren't always a problem, and neither are the little sweat on the rack boot. But check the power steering oil level, because it could be leaking from the pump into the engine oil. I think we're about done. Okay, really important, and this is why you stay till the end of videos, because there could be something really important that comes up that saves you thousands, and this is it. So, like I said, we're doing diff oil changes, right? Diff oil changes. So as this plug opens up, do you want to make the sound, or should I? Yeah, we both had to go. There you go. Do you get it? So air pressure, what the hell? Well, that's why there's a breather. Remember we talked about that mud? And we talk about when you come back from trips, you got to really give things a good wash up. Look at all that mud sitting there. And look, this is the breather up here, right? Hard for you to see, but I'm just going to in the corner. Oh, look at that, mate. It's rock solid, blocked as anything. Look at that. It needs to be worked and cleaned out, right? So what we're going to do with this one is give it a good clean up, spray some brake cleaner on it, right? It needs to be, you know, it's already getting better, right? But there's no guarantee that is clear just because it's moving. So we want to spray, we want to hit it with brake cleaner in the crack there, so that it sort of fills the cap. The tip of the thing is always remove the filler plug first, right? So if you have any problems, because you're in trouble if you get your drain plug out and you can't get your filler plug, mate, good luck. I really want to fill it up and really give it a good flooding so it's clean underneath there. And it doesn't matter what goes into the diff, because it's just going to come out the other end. Like that, see, coming out the other end. How's it going to save you thousands? Well, what happens is when there's pressure, the most common seal to go is this one here, right? The pinion seal. So in behind here, obviously, this is your pinion. In behind there, there's a seal. You want to look after that one. But if there's pressure, this is the one that usually goes first on these vehicles. You could also have a problem at your axle seals. You could have either or both. Just saying, most common's here. Now let's get to the front and finish off this video. We're just going to finish off by having a look at the lower control arm bushes, right? Trying to get in there and have a really good look, if we can. You know, they're a bit, the front ones are pretty bad compared to what they usually are on other vehicles. And I blame the Bilsteins, or it could be people ramming speed humps as well. So just take it easy over the speed humps. Let's have a look. We looked at this one already, but let's just have a quick look to compare the pair. Right, let's have a good comparison. Just a little crack on the left, a crack on the right. Start saving, but they don't need replacing yet. This one is a bit more. It's probably about, from the left cracked in, it's probably about 30 to 40%, and the right side's just starting. So, you know, 220K, we recommend on the 120s, it's going to be about 250K, but this is one of those things, you don't just replace them at 250K like wheel bearings, you just replace at 200K, right? If you want to be safe. So, because they're going to go, unless you're lucky, they're going to go bad sooner or later, and it's going to be around 200, and they can go bad quickly. You don't want to get caught out on a trip, that sort of thing, right? Which has happened to people. So those you do as prevention. But these you don't do as prevention. You can see, you can monitor, you can look at that. If that's my vehicle, I would go, you know what, I'll give it a bit longer, let's keep an eye on it. It could stay like that for another 50,000 Ks. These things are expensive, let's not waste money, let's not waste them, but let's use genuine because we know how long they last. There's people that have tried different products and some, just didn't work out. So time will tell with that. We know what we're going to get with genuine. Anyway, guys, that's the video. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, turn the bell on. Hopefully you learned something out of that. Look at that plug. Like I said, it's just like the original. Beautiful. Look at that. Anyway, got to go. Thanks for watching. See ya.